Hey and welcome. This is going to be my views, episode 3 I think, and this is going to be on Kick-Ass 2. And of course it's my views, not your views. I'm not pushing them on you. If you want to leave your views, feel free to leave them in the comments. Basically it's on Kick-Ass 2, what I think of the translation from the comics to the movie. And so I'm going to be a lot of looking downwards rather than at the camera, because I've written a lot of it down because I don't want to screw it up, because if I watched something and I saw it was screwed up, then I'd be pretty angry. And yes, my hair is a bit of a mess today. Right, let's start and see how it goes. Right, to start off with, Katie and Kick-Ass, that's Kick-Ass's girlfriend from the first one, they aren't together. Like, after the first one, they don't get together. So yeah, that never happens, right? But they did, you know, do it. They fucked, right? Also, spoilers. Obviously, I haven't spoiled anything yet, but yeah, spoilers if you haven't watched the movie or read the comic book Kick-Ass 2, right? Now, the gay superhero who's in it, who's called Insect Man, he's wearing a mask in the comics, and he doesn't have this whole thing that he was gay and he doesn't care. He's out, so that's why he doesn't wear a mask. That whole thing didn't exist in the comics, and I think they just tried to, I don't know, some sort of media influence or some shit, you know, that it wasn't really needed. They just tried to make people happy, I guess. It's actually Dave's friend who dresses as a gimp. Like, in the film, motherfucker finds his mother's like gimp clothes and wears them, like S&M kind of thing, but it's actually Dave's friend who then calls himself Ass Kicker that wears all the gimp stuff. And also there's not the betrayal that happens. Like, Ass Kicker, Dave's friend, like, he feels he's left out because Marty and Dave go off and have their superhero club, and he's not there. But that doesn't happen in the comics, so he doesn't go off and join the other supergroup and accidentally let go of Dave's identity. That does not happen at all. So yeah, there's that thing. They kill the dog in the books as well. And this is one thing I love about the comics rather than the film. It's a lot darker. And I enjoy that. Like, they made stuff really too comical about it, but yeah. They kind of did a bit of a Game of Thrones thing where they cut off Colonel Stars and Stripes' head and the dog's head, and they put the dog's head, who's actually called Sophia in the comics, not like Eisenhower, which they do in the movies. I don't know why they changed it, but that's, whatever. And so they put, the head on the body, and that was all over the news. It was pretty cool in the books. Motherfucker knows Kick-Ass's identity. Like, there's a moment in the prelude where he's smoking a load of pot, and he remembers Kick-Ass's identity. There's not the whole thing of he doesn't know who the fuck it is, etc. Right, and because of that, he goes after Dave's ex-girlfriend, Katie, from the first one, and he goes to her street and he rapes her, basically. Right, like, him and his badass crew rock up to the neighbourhood, and first of all, they ask a load of kids where Katie lives, and they don't give him an answer, and motherfucker's so hardcore that he shoots like 4 kids with an Uzi, and they didn't put that in there, even though he absolutely mutilates these kids. It's brilliant. What else happens? Yeah, he kills them brilliantly. Then he goes shouting, he basically kills everyone in the neighbourhood with these Uzis, while his gang's just kind of standing around doing not much, really. And then he gets to Katie's house, shouts, "Hey, Kate, I'm coming," or some shit like that. And then he shoots Katie's dad point blank in the face with an Uzi right in front of Katie. Then he goes and he actually rapes her. There's no joking about or anything like they did in the movie where he couldn't get it up. He actually full on does it. You don't see the scene, but it's highly implied. And also, in a couple of pages later, the whole gang is seen to have a go on her because they're all seen zipping up their flies. So it's dark as fuck, and I kind of like that. Like, they took all of that out of the movies, which was disappointing. And there's a great line in it where he's just killed all these kids, and one of the motherfuckers' gang members just is shocked, and the motherfucker just says, "Oh, come on, so iCarly loses a few viewers, give me a fucking break." It's so good. That accent was not, but it's just epic. And Mother Russia, who thinks to actually kill Dave's dad in jail. Like, she's the one who suggests it. Like, yeah, it's her suggestion. She's a fuck up bitch in this. Like, she, what's one of the things in the comics? Yeah, while she was drunk, she killed all of Vladimir Putin's bodyguards. She was one as well. She killed all the rest of them because they accused her of cheating at cards. It's pretty hardcore. Kick-Ass and Hit Girl go to motherfuckers' headquarters and basically beat up everyone there. Chuck some guy in a shark tank who raped his girlfriend, and then asks where the motherfucker is. Like, that happens. That doesn't happen in the film. That's them in the van. Right, the whole van scene happens otherwise, but then they go to the base and they beat that guy up and ask that. So, yeah. There's a huge... Because in the film where they go to the motherfucker's base and there's the huge fight there, it's not there. They go to Times Square, it's advertised. He asks for everyone in a costume to don it and just go fucking apeshit crazy. And there's a massive brawl in Times Square, basically. And basically the good guys end up beating the bad guys, but the cops turn up. And it's fucking awesome, really. It's so epic. Superheroes win the battle, cops turn up. They get all the blame. The motherfucker gets away onto a roof with Kick-Ass, and Kick-Ass punches him off the roof accidentally, but not into a shark tank like the fucking film. Like, otherwise there can't be a sequel, because he's like all like arms and lings. I really hope they're not going to make him into some sort of fucking robot in the next movie. That would be shit. That would be so bad. It would be unbelievable. I hope that didn't just time out. Nope, still recording. Got no idea what that beep was. That is probably not good. So yeah, that happens. And yeah, the police turn up and Mindy jumps off the building, steals a cop car, then motherfucker's uncle who's like in the police. That's the whole thing that's not even covered in the fucking... in the film. But she swerves, she steals a cop car, swerves to miss a guy. And yeah, she gets arrested at the end of the film instead of moving to New York, which was bollocks, to be honest. They should have arrested her. That's like the whole thing. Also note, motherfucker's mother doesn't die. That she doesn't die in the comics. Like, there was no need to really kill her in this at all. And also, Kick-Ass has nothing to do with... I touched on this earlier, but he has no sexual contact or any contact really with Night Bitch in the comics at all, except just being on a team with her, really. Yeah, the bit where Dave is pimped out and set up to get mugged is in the prelude to Kick-Ass. So they're kind of woven in two books, really, two comic sets, Kick-Ass 2 and the prelude Hit Girl. Same with the convenience store bit where the motherfucker goes in and shoots the Chinese guy. Well, he doesn't in the film. He calls some old guy Gandalf and then shoots a load of bottled water in a shelf. In the comics, he goes and shoots like a fucking RPG through this guy's face. It's awesome. Mindy also goes on a huge killing spree and killed a load of people, and that's why Marcus tells her to stop, like, being a superhero, because, like, her mother, Mindy's mother isn't dead, by the way, or, like, she's still around. Like, Marcus and her hook up to look after Mindy, and basically Mindy's mother and Marcus see about like 7 body bags escorted out of the house because Hit Girl's been on a rampage, and then Marcus is like, don't do that, and then yeah, that's why that happens. Javier doesn't die, right? That's one thing. Like, Javier isn't in it at all. Like, Javier just doesn't exist. Like, what the fuck's up with that? Also, the motherfucker remembers, yep, done that bit. Dave's armour and shit doesn't exist. Like, the last massive fight, Dave has armour, Hit Girl has massive armour. It exists for a slight bit in the comic, but not a lot. Also, Mindy is so hardcore in her own comic, and they had that little bit with the girls, and they watched like a shit Union J video. And then she comes back with like this electric prod that makes people shit and puke a lot. That didn't happen. She ended up hanging a girl from the rooftops, which was awesome. Like that, she needed to be more badass. The whole chase scene with Mindy and Marcus, after the pimping, like she's running off and then he finds her in bed and uncovers, sees blood, etc., sees the costume, tells her to stop. That doesn't happen. That actually leads to nothing in the books. She gets away with it, basically. That fucks me off. The motherfucker is too comical in this, and it makes me... It's true. Like, the whole MMA training film, that didn't happen at all. He just goes to some sort of, like, Batman-esque training school and, like, up in the mountains with Ra's al Ghul or something. It's similar to Batman Begins kind of training school. And, yeah, he flunks out. Just like MMA, really. When Stars and Stripes dies in the book, and Dave's dad, you feel loads of shock and sorrow about it. Like, they play it so well in the comics, it's unbelievable. And there's a bit more connection with it that they didn't show in the movie. Like, there's more of the characters, so you can feel sympathy for them. I've covered a lot of bad bits now. Now I'll go to the good bits. There's a great scene when Hit Girl comes into Dave's room and opens up to Dave, asking him for help, and I think that gets to me a bit. You know, pulls on the heartstrings, if you were. That's a great film that wasn't in the books, that isn't a film. Also, I love the added craziness, like the bit with Mother Russia in the neighbourhood. She kicks the cop car and there's the lawnmower on it and it mows the cops' faces off. That's amazing. Finally, I love the film. It's great and funny, but it does fuck me off a bit, just the fact they couldn't stick to the basics, because the basics is so good. Like, I don't know why they changed it. Like, the stuff they changed doesn't... I just don't see why they did it, to be honest. In the end, motherfucker needs to be more badass and not pussy and comical like they played him off to be. Hit Girl needs to be more badass as well. They needed it basically to be an 18 rather than a 15. And I think I've covered everything. If I've got anything wrong, I apologise. But I'm normally pretty good at research and shit, and I did research, watched the film, read the book before this, and yeah. So that's basically my views, and as I always say, put your views in the comment section below. And yeah, have fun.